Do you ever catch yourself in the shower going over old arguments and wishing that you would have handled them differently? Maybe wishing that you said this instead of that? Well, if so, stay tuned, because I'm about to share the secret power of responding thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Today's minisode is a special edition from PhilosoShe Weekly, my 3-part newsletter that I send out to the Stoic Dahlia community, where we discuss Stoic topic of the week, food for thought for personal reflection, and an action, which is an exercise or 2 or 3 that I give you to help you integrate this week's Stoic lesson into your day-to-day life. Today is part 2 of a 4-part series breaking down the essence of Stoic principles. But before we dive in, let me introduce myself. I'm your host, Bea, and you're listening to the Stoic Dahlia podcast, a digital retreat full of thought-provoking narratives rooted in Stoic philosophy. Each episode is designed to inspire you to question conventional thinking and to seek greater clarity and purpose within your life. This isn't your typical self-help, self-improvement podcast, rather an unconventional and refreshing approach where ancient wisdom meets modern living in a way that speaks directly to women.
All you want, I know what I've been made for. Don't need applause, I don't stop, I'm a strong force. Got my own voice.
I just wanted to say right before we dive into Stoic principle number 2 that I can't help but think how easy I probably make it sound in telling you, watch this, and you'll be amazed how you can rewire your mind. Like it's a magic trick. Apologies, because my intention is not to bait you or mislead you. And if you've engaged in any of my weekly challenges that I share in PhilosoShe Weekly, then you know that it really isn't that simple. Feeling your feelings and then examining them and working hard to change what may have been an instinctual reaction into a response is hard. Which reminds me of a TikTok video that I did similar to what I'm saying right now. Let's check it out.
Learning to say, okay, instead of, you got me you stupid is hard.
It's hard. It's definitely not for the weak. It would be one thing if in our day-to-day lives, it was as simple as dealing with, things like apologizing for snapping at your husband or losing your shit with your kids. Like, I'm sorry. But it's so much more than that. There's so many more factors that play into that. Some of us are dealing with very toxic family members. Some of us are going through some type of loss in our life. And some of us are just dealing with the complete disaster and feelings of imposter syndrome and the bipolarness in our minds. That's me. But with that being said, what I can 100% assure you is that rewiring and the reshifting and the reframing of your mindset, it can absolutely be done. Now, regardless of what each of us is going through, we do have one thing in common, and that's our ability to reason. So, Stoic topic of the week is principle numero 2, the power of reason. Reason, in its essence, is one of our highest human attributes. It empowers us to navigate the complexities of life, to make informed decisions, and to understand the world around us in some of the most profound ways. But far too often, we mistake life experiences to be nothing more than a simple 2-step dance: event and reaction. But surprise, surprise, there's a sneaky middle step: opinion. So it really goes event, opinion, reaction. Our opinion is a personal perspective, a belief about a particular issue that starts to ruffle our feathers, causing us to pull our hair back, take out our earrings, and get ready to fight. Without reason, we risk either saying or doing things that we might not be able to come back from. So here's your food for thought. Now, stick with me here because I'm going to go way out to left field. If you've ever watched Margaret Atwood's Handmaid's Tale or read the book, then you are familiar with the different categories the women from the show are placed in. We have the wives, which is the highest ranking. They're the order of the home. Then you have the Marthas, which are the maids. They cook, they clean. And then we have the handmaids, which are the baby makers. But then there are the Jezebels, aka the prostitutes. Only the Jezebels were the only ones given a choice on their fate to either work in a brothel. They were convicted. They got in trouble. So their punishment is to either work in a brothel or work in the colonies. And to be honest, neither sound ideal. But if a choice was to be made, and in moments of sheer madness, what if someone chose the colonies? The colonies for sure would be a death choice. The Jezebels used reason to make a choice in a world gone mad. Now, this also brings to mind another movie I once saw called Dangerous Beauty, a film about the life of a young girl who was taught by her mother to be a courtesan, one of the exotic companions, also you would call a prostitute, that would hang out and favor the richest and most powerful Venetian men. Courtesans back in the 17th through 19th centuries were given privileges that average women were not. They were given education in all things, including politics and in the arts, in order to be smart and great conversationalists for powerful men within society. Oh, I know, right? Although The Handmaid's Tale is a work of fiction, as is Dangerous Beauty, most stories like that, they hold some kind of roots or a disturbing reality. These women in both scenarios are living in times of extreme unfairness, but they used reason to make the best choice available to them. While our modern challenges are different, the power of reason remains the same. It helps us to make thoughtful decisions rather than reacting emotionally or impulsively. Unfairness and injustice, it's an inevitability of life. No, it's not how things should be, but if we get stuck on that thought, we risk losing energy. Our focus should remain on reality, the conditions and the facts that are a part of our lives the way they are right now. I know things have happened to you in your life that have been unfair in your past. And if something is not taking place in your life right now that feels unfair or causing you to feel wronged by others, then you will face it again at some point in the future. It's just the way it goes. Although reason doesn't eliminate unfairness or injustice, it enables us to make wise, rational decisions for if and when the time comes that we must face them. Take action. Stoic reason doesn't ask us to make excuses for injustice or any type of abuse. It doesn't teach us to sweep things under the carpet, look away, or suppress our emotions. Instead, it encourages us to examine our feelings in the moment and not let them dictate our actions. So this week, your mission, if you choose to accept, is to work on widening the space between event and reaction. And by doing so, you can stand still, choose to acknowledge your emotions without being blinded by them, and decide what is best in your interest. What is the best thing to do or the best thing to say next? So here's a few different tools to help you. Practice the RIDE technique, RIDE. Practicing the RIDE technique will allow you to create a reason-based response when you find yourself in a scenario where someone has said or done something that would typically get under your skin. So when you feel that strong emotion want to rise, take a moment to pause and start with R. Recognize your emotion. I. Investigate the source. Ask yourself, what's driving this feeling? D. Detach from the emotion. Remind yourself, I am not my emotions. You can feel mad, but don't allow that to turn into rage. Don't allow that to take over. Detach from that. And the last letter, E. Engage with reason. Ask yourself, what would I do if I were thinking clearly? Kind of like when you're in the shower 5 days later thinking, I should have said this probably would have been a better response. But instead, by using this right technique, you can do this right now. Additional things to ask yourself. Is my feeling of being offended based off of a belief I have about a situation? Is there any way I could be misunderstanding what just happened, what was said, or what was done? As you face each day, remember that you are the author of your own story. Now, you don't have to be Margaret Atwood, but you can choose to write a tale of resilience, growth, and triumph. Your ability to reason is your superpower. Use it to transform challenges into your personal freedom, into strengthening your communication skills, and into giving you the upper hand at all times, because unlike the majority of the people that will surround you, you truly will be the one in control. All right, that's all I got. May the rest of your week be filled with reason, my friend. Bye.
You think you got me, but I'm 10 foot tall.